What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Tangent Podcast. It is great to be back with you. How you doing today, Jack?
Dude, I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. It's a good day.
It's nice to be sitting across from you.
Yeah, merely 3 feet from each other.
First time in what, like probably 2 years? Over 2 years that we've done it in person?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's been a long time.
It has. So we're excited about this one. This will be a fun one, too. Hopefully you're all doing well. But before we get into the content for today, we have a drink. And I'm excited about it.
Always got a drink. I just think the name's super dumb.
Why don't you tell them what it is?
We got ourselves the Monster Energy Nitro, which is not dumb, but I get, is that the flavor? It's super dry. Super dry?
I don't know why you'd ever describe a drink as dry, but here's what it says on the side. It says nitro-infused technology, which I didn't know we had technology in our drinks, but it says one of the best-kept secrets in the energy drink game. Monster Energy Nitro will blow your mind. Super Dry is nitro-infused, creating a smooth, creamy texture that is better experienced than explained. With a full load of Monster's classic energy blend, Monster Energy Nitro's got the boost you need. Unleash the beast.
The Nitro Beast. What are you talking? Yeah, while you're reading that, it does say here, contains milk.
What? Oh, wow. Huh.
I'm not sure how I feel about this anymore.
How much milk is in here? Does it say?
Let's see. Ingredients.
It is a full sugar one, too. Dude, it's full sugar, but it still has sucralose. What's up with that?
Oh, great. Holy crap, 51 grams of sugar.
So we're going to die because sugar and... Okay. So this is what I just looked up. What is a dry drink? And it says, a drink is categorized as dry...
Isn't it just
when
non-alcoholic?
there's less of a sweet flavor and more of an astringent bite.
Oh.
Isn't astringent usually used to describe mouthwash? Like... Or what you put on a wound?
Definition. Let's see. It means causing the contraction of skin cells and other body tissues. Or of taste or smell, meaning slightly acidic or bitter. That's probably the one they mean.
Yeah, okay. I just would never use astringent to...
That's a fun word, though.
Yeah, it is. Well, I'm excited nonetheless because it has milk. He needs some milk. Let's give this a smell.
Fruity.
Whoa, there's like a...
And we haven't been able to do this in a while. There we go.
Cheers, my
there
friend.
we go. Whoa.
Ooh, that's...
Okay, I was not on board when I heard milk, but that's pretty good.
I like that
That's
a lot.
pretty dang good.
It's weird, though. Like,
It
how do you
tastes...
describe it?
Okay, you're going to think this is ridiculous, but you know Shasta?
Yeah.
It tastes like Dr. What do they call it?
The
Lightning
Mountain Shoutin' or whatever?
It's whatever the Shasta version of Mountain Dew is. It tastes very similar to that.
It's Mountain Rush.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
It starts soda-y and it ends creamy.
The creaminess is really weird, but
It's disturbing, but I don't hate it.
I wouldn't describe that as astringent at all. I think that's really good. I'm gonna give it like a 9.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8.5.
That is super good. Also, the best off-brand of Mountain Dew is called Mountain Shoutin'. Have you ever had it?
I don't think so.
I don't. We got it one time when I was in like Washington.
Oh my gosh,
or
that
something.
looks so off-brand.
Mountain Shoutin'. Here's all the off-brand Mountain Dew. There's Mountain Frost, Mountain Shoutin', Mountain Chill,
Dr.
Mountain
Bob.
W. Yeah, Dr. Bob. Wild Mountain, Mountain Lion, Mountain Explosion, and Mountain Rapids. Oh, and Mountain Breeze.
I'm looking at the Dr. Pepper knockoffs, and there's Dr. Bob and Dr. Perky.
Have you seen the off-brand thing? It's Oreos, and they're called Cream Betweens.
Ew!
Here they are.
Cream.
Cream Betweens and Nutters for peanut M&Ms.
Ooh, look at the eyes.
And then Crust.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's funny. funny. That's really good. I like that a lot.
Dude, when you get back up here, we're going to have a TV on the wall. We'll start doing video again. I'm going to have an HDMI switcher here. So, like if I'm showing something, then you want to show something just like that. Boop. Everyone can see it. Us, you, them, whatever.
We need a soundboard, too.
Oh, heck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get an old Casio and plug it in.
Nice. Well, this is fun. Good drink. We've got a little bit of space news for you today. So, a couple things. One thing to look out for next year, so you got some time. But I just heard about this.
Yeah, I like how we used to tell them hey, there's a meteor shower tonight, and then not release the episode for 2 weeks. It's well, sorry about that.
So if you miss this, it's your fault because it's April 8th of 2024. There is going to be a solar eclipse that passes over the entire United States. Full solar eclipse.
Oh, really?
Yep, and so it will pass over the entire country. Thank you. Sorry.
You're good. I'm just trying.
Sorry if you all heard my cable there moving around. So keep an eye out for that. Along with that, there was a cool new, this isn't the space news, but cool new telescope that I saw on Kickstarter called Hestia. Have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
It's one that so it's on a tripod and it looks like a projector, but you stick your smartphone on it and it enhances your smartphone camera up to 5 times the zoom.
Oh.
And it looks really cool. So they're saying it's got a solar filter on it too, so that you can use it to watch the eclipse.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
Record it on your phone. So if you want to go on Kickstarter, they're doing a crowdfunding for that, and it looks kind of cool.
Oh, there's only 12 hours to go though.
Yeah, and I think it's $190 to get one, so it's not cheap.
Dang.
But it looks cool though.
They wanted $10,000 for their goal, and they're at 3.7 million.
Yeah. They've got a lot, yeah. And the pictures that I've seen from it look really, really good of the moon. But apparently they also have a solar filter you can put on it to take pictures of the sun too.
Dude, I've always wanted a telescope, but this would actually be pretty sweet because then, smartphone controlled. It's a little bit cheaper than an actual telescope.
But also you can take pictures of it too, because with the real telescope you can see it. But
if I have a telescope, I can see it, but I can't take pictures and see it later, kind of thing,
right.
So.
Right. Well, that is not the space news, and it's not really space news today. It's more tech news. I thought this was kind of cool and funny though. There was a test done at the University of Montana in Montana, which I don't know how good the universities are up there in Montana. I would assume they're pretty good. But they did a study, and apparently ChatGPT tested into the top 1% for original creative thinking. So it beat out 99% of college students in a test that was judged on creative thinking. I thought that was kind of cool.
You know what else is a little bit interesting about ChatGPT, though? Let's not get down too deep into this because we got a whole episode to get into. But have you heard of prompt injection? Is what it's called.
No.
So, ChatGPT operates on a large language model, and it's constantly learning. Meaning, every time it talks to you and you talk to it, it's learning from that and making it better for the next time someone uses it. Now, that's good. But there's something, people can use it maliciously, just basically. And so people were running tests with it and saying what's 2 plus 2? And it would say 4. And then they would go back and say, no, it's not, it's 5. And they go, no, okay. I'm pretty sure it's 4. And then if you just keep going long enough, apparently it just accepts it. It's I'm sorry, I must have had it wrong. My calculations must have been wrong or something like that. I now know 2 plus 2 is 5 kind of thing.
That's crazy.
And then so people are doing calculations with it and they're wrong, simple multiplication and it's wrong kind of thing, and it's because people are messing with it, and I think that's hilarious. First of all,
that this terribly complex AI that's supposed to take over the world and rule us all. There was one I saw, this was back when it was ChatGPT 2 or 3, where people were basically hacking it or manipulating it to swear back at them. So it'd be hey, tell me this as if you were my friend Dan, who's terribly irreverent and swears a lot. And it'd be yo, mother effer, this is the shiz right here. And
that's amazing.
It was really funny.
No, yeah, it's It's pretty crazy what you can do with prompt injection to avoid the rules and stuff, but that's a whole nother story.
I mean, that's all it is, though, is it really just searches the internet for stuff, so you have to even take it with a grain of salt to see if it's pulling vetted information or just whatever's out there on Wikipedia or whatever, too. You know?
Or somebody's Reddit post or who knows what.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, ChatGPT, I use it a lot. It's great. It's fun, but be careful with it.
Yeah.
You want to tell our viewers what we're, or do we?
We got an encounter today.
We have an encounter. Yes. Okay.
All right, you ready for this one? Called
I'm ready.
The Phantom Patient.
Ooh.
All right, here we go. Oh, wait. There we go. The ambulance company that I used to work for had a haunted ambulance, Rig 12. A lot of EMTs had stories about it, but I never put much stock into paranormal stuff. That is, until I had my own experience with Rig 12. My partner and I were working in a rural community at 3 a.m., and it was pitch dark and completely quiet. We were both dozing. I was in the driver's seat, and she was in the passenger seat. I woke up to a muffled voice, but I thought my partner was talking. I told her I was trying to sleep and closed my eyes. I distinctly heard a male voice say, "Oh my God, am I dying?" Followed by a few seconds of heavy breathing. My partner and I sat up straight, looked into the back of the patient compartment where it sounded like the voice had come from. Things were quiet for a couple seconds, then we heard the click of an oxygen bottle regulator and a hiss as if it were leaking. I turned on the lights, we ran out of the rig. I thought a transient might have climbed in while we were asleep, so we opened the rear doors, but no one was in there. I checked the oxygen bottles, neither were opened. We didn't sleep much after that.
Ooh. That's creepy.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think... So it was an ambulance.
Yep.
Rigged. When you said Rig 12, I thought you said it rigged well. Like it was rigged well.
This is rigged very well.
It was rigged well. I was really confused. But yeah, I guess there might be a lot of death on an ambulance.
That's true,
So-
probably.
You could have some spirits hanging on.
A spirit just realizing that he's dying and needed some oxygen, you know? He's just like, maybe this will help.
I mean, you always hear about haunted hospitals.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure an ambulance...
Dude, of all the haunted places to go, I think a hospital would be the freakiest. Like, a haunted mansion would be scary, obviously, but a haunted hospital or a haunted school. I think the hospital's just creepier for me for some
Or a
reason.
haunted church, too.
Ooh, you got a good point there. Because then you got to bring in, like, you know, demons and stuff like that because in a religious aspect.
Bring in the holy water. You know how you make holy water?
You boil the hell out of it?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a fun encounter. Thanks to whoever sent that one in.
Zerbo.
Zerbo. Thank you, Zerbo. You want to tell our listeners what we're going over today?
Yeah. So today's an interesting episode, and it might be 2, maybe 3, depending on how many we find and how long we talk about each one. But this was actually suggested to us by my wonderful wife, where she was like, "Hey, it's kind of cool how you guys talk about conspiracy theories, but you guys should talk about conspiracy theories that are real, like that actually were confirmed." And I was like, "Oh, hey, we kind of did that with MK Ultra, but yeah, I'm sure there's more." So that's what today is. And this is going to be a bit of we're just going to be throwing stories back and forth at each other about the ones that we know were confirmed to be real. And
So we got a list.
yeah, we got a long list.
We're going to go through the list.
Some of these are you probably know about. Some of these you've never heard about. Some of these are downright ridiculous. And you'll know the 2 when you hear them.
Yep. Why don't you, do you want me to kick it off or you kick it off or what?
You pick your favorite. Let's go into that.
I'm going to start with Gulf of Tonkin.
The Gulf of Tonkin.
Let's all go back to the year 1964. The Beatles were at the top of the charts.
Ooh.
My dad was 1 year old.
Mm-hmm.
And Lyndon B. Johnson was the president. Kennedy had been shot 62, I believe. So this is a couple years after Kennedy. And the United States was currently in the Vietnam War. had soldiers over there. And so the conspiracy with the Gulf of Tonkin, or not even conspiracy, the truth with the Gulf of Tonkin was it was a confrontation in the Gulf of Tonkin, which is near close to North Vietnamese territory. And so it was in their territorial waters. And on August 2nd, there was a confrontation between the U.S., who was carrying out some covert ops in the area, and the Vietnamese. And basically what had happened is that the claim was that the U.S. had seen a bunch of torpedo boats coming near two destroyers that they had out there.
Uh-oh.
One of them, called the Maddox, and its sister ship, the USS Turner Joy, which, fun fact, I've actually been on that ship.
Oh, really?
In Seattle. It's really cool. You can go tour it up there. And so they were sister ships out patrolling these waters, doing some covert ops, right? And so they see all these blips on their radar, and they're like, crap, these torpedo boats are coming in for us. So they had this confrontation on August 2nd. August 4th, they falsely claimed that there was a second incident, and between the Vietnamese and these two ships up in the waters up there in the Gulf of Tonkin. And so the U.S. basically claimed that the Vietnamese fired on their boats, and they did this, they claimed this so that they could have justification that they needed to send more forces and spend more money on the Vietnam War. So originally, the claims blamed North Vietnam for the confrontation, but it was all imaginary. The incident on August 4th was imaginary. And so there was an investigation after the official report was released that said that second attack never even happened, and that was the attack that the government used to justify sending more troops into Vietnam, and then we were there for a while longer. And so that's why a lot of people say that the Vietnam War was based on a lie, or like based on nothing. You know, like
I have heard that before. I just realized.
And so no one really knows why we're fighting the Vietnam War. It was all based on this lie that the government wanted to go in, and you know, anytime that the government is in war, companies are making money. You know, arms manufacturers and defense companies are making millions and billions of dollars. And so,
yes, sir.
That's basically what happened. The government lied so that we could go to war. And it ended up getting thousands of Americans killed in a war that a lot of people don't even know why we're fighting it. So, really sad, right, to do that. But yeah, all of that justification was based on a lie.
I wonder why they wanted to get into it so bad. I wonder if that's...
I think the military-industrial complex, honestly, because when Kennedy was in office, that was one of the reasons people were thinking that they wanted to have him assassinated if it was like the CIA, because he was trying to pull troops out of Vietnam.
Oh, that's right.
And the government, with these defense companies and arms companies and stuff, wasn't about that, so... That could be one theory, just money making and trying to gain control, you know?
That's a classic.
That is the Gulf of Tonkin.
All right. So we've got one down with the Gulf of Tonkin. Well, we're going to throw out two, just out really quick with MK Ultra. We already covered that in its own episode because of how crazy it was. But SparkNotes version is the U.S. government basically kidnapped people who had no family or friends, and well, I don't know, were some of them volunteers maybe, or prisoners? I can't remember, but
a lot of homeless people,
mostly homeless people, and they basically drugged them with LSD and trying to basically mind control them.
Yeah, it was trying to see if they could control minds or used as like a truth serum or an interrogation tactic for enemies as well.
So that's something you should go listen to after this episode. Or before, who cares?
It's a goodie.
That one's got Dez in it.
Yep.
Which means it's going to be entertaining, don't you worry. I had to do our first bleep in an episode. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was, but I had to bleep him out because he dropped the F-bomb.
He messaged me when he listened to it. He's like, nice bleeping.
But, I mean, that's fine. I really don't care, but... I thought it was hilarious.
What's next on the list?
All right, let's go with something a little bit different. Let's go with the big tobacco lie.
Okay.
So, the big tobacco lie... Let me get my notes pulled up here. So, back in yonder day, smoking was a pretty big deal, and everybody did it for some reason. But basically what it boiled down to was big tobacco, and this, by big tobacco, I mean like the top brands that sold cigarettes. That would have been Marlboro. I don't even know how to pronounce that, honestly.
Marlboro.
And what's the other big one?
Camel,
thank you. Yeah. Anyway, they basically said that they had, when people started wondering, okay, maybe this tobacco stuff isn't good for us, they would be like, oh no, run huge campaigns saying basically it doesn't have any negative health effects. We've done the studies. We've never found anything that suggests that it's directly related. And they did this all under oath in front of the government, in their ads, and knowing fully well that they were lying and that it does cause cancer and other health problems. But they need that dollar bill, so they went with the lie for quite a bit of time before, outing them, and people now know that smoking is horrible for you. But it was interesting to see that. I mean, some people are greedy enough; they will literally let their customers die because they're getting paid by them, rather than tell them the truth. They also, on top of that, they would say, oh, we only have a low amount of tar, and our cigarettes aren't as harmful as others, kind of thing, where they were the exact same as all the other ones and had a ton of tar. And basically, they were not great people.
When did they finally come out and say, do you know what the year was when they finally admitted to it? Wasn't it like the 90s?
It wasn't that long ago. I want to say the 80s or 90s. When...
Yeah, 95? Let's see. Big tobacco lawsuit of 98.
This one says that by the 1960s, the evidence against smoking was more than damning.
Yeah, but had they come out at that point and said...
I don't know. At 1964, the U.S. Surgeon General released the first report of health effects of smoking that caused lung cancer and bronchitis. I don't know when they finally, were just like, all right, yeah, it's not great kind of thing. But that is one conspiracy theory that people, at the time were like, I think they're lying. Like, it's got to be bad for you. Why are they lying to us kind of thing? And,
right.
Some people are like, oh, you're crazy. They're not lying. They can't lie. They're under oath. But that turned out to be true.
They can't lie. They're under oath. Like, that argument to me is just stupid. I don't know.
I like how they're like, do you realize you're under oath? I'm like, that doesn't change their mind.
Yeah.
That doesn't do anything, right? Like,
for someone that's lying, they're probably not worried about swearing over the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But another one that people were called maybe crazy for. Who knows? I don't know. That probably wasn't that big of a surprise, though. What do you got for us next?
Well, this one's more of a silly one.
Let's go silly.
This one is the conspiracy of Gaydar, and or the fruit machine.
The fruit machine.
What it's also known as.
I love that.
So back in the 60s, the Canadian government... hold up, I just lost the page.
Canadian. I love that. This is Canadian, too.
Yeah, it's Canadian. So, it was a device in the 60s that was developed... Or, no, was it the 50s? No, it was the 60s. So they hired a professor... who was a psychology professor named Frank Robert Wake. And they hired him to develop a machine that could detect gay men. And they called it the fruit machine because back then a derogatory term for homosexuals was fruit. So basically how they tested everybody. They were testing the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the Canadian Civil Service and government, and so they were testing tons of people to see if they were gay, and they were on this campaign to eliminate any gay men from these positions. So what they did, they had this guy develop a machine that showed these men basically gay porn or gay erotic images, and the machine would measure the dilation levels of their pupils to see if they were enjoying it or not.
Oh my gosh.
And they ended up firing over like 400 people as a result of this test. And whether all 400 of those were gay or not, like, I don't know, but that's kind of messed up. And then funding was cut off in the 60s. But there were over 9,000 people who had been investigated by gaydar. So,
that's crazy that they spent that much time and effort into this.
Yeah,
like something that, you know, I guess was a big deal back then, but like today it's just like, who cares? Like, they're gay people that work for our government.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Like,
no one cares.
Back then they were like, we got to devote hundreds of man hours and probably thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Yeah, hire a professor to develop a machine. Yeah, the gaydar. So, yeah, that's the the gaydar. I just, like, how did they think that was going to be reliable, though?
Yeah,
like,
seriously.
Because your pupils dilate according to light too, like changes in light or change like.
I mean, even emotion and temperature can do stuff like that. Like,
and the way that it was set up, it was just like a dentist chair, and then they had like a black box right in front of their face, and then like
flipped on a TV with those images, like, oh, your pupils dilated.
They showed them like erotic images of men and women, and they would measure their dilation levels in comparison to the two, and then basically, determine which one they liked more. So
that is disturbing but hilarious in the same way.
Oh, and then the other big thing with it first was they originally said that it was to rate people's levels of stress.
Oh, really?
We're going to show you some porn to see how stressed you are. And then, so all these people are like, yeah, we'll try it. And then once they figured it out, they're like, yeah, we're not trying that.
Yeah, seriously. That's great.
So that's the gaydar.
The gaydar. I cannot believe that was a real thing.
Right.
Like, I didn't know about that before today. But here we are. Speaking of gay government devices that I didn't know about before today that actually turned out to be a real thing, you ready for our next one? This one's the gay bomb.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we had to put those hand in hand with each other because it's so similar. But the gay bomb was a non-lethal psychochemical weapon that the United States Air Force Research Laboratory was investigating the probability of something being made like this. It was in 1994, and basically what it did was it was a bomb, but instead of exploding, it threw out pheromones when it exploded. Sex pheromones is what it says. And they would drop it on enemy forces, and basically these pheromones would, I don't know, take over them so much that they would be sexually attracted to each other and not want to fight, I guess. I don't know where the how A leads to B there. But let's see. The theories involve discharging sex pheromones over enemy forces in order to make them sexually attracted to each other. That's all it says. But I cannot believe that was actually like, I want to be in that war room. Like, okay, we need some non-lethal stuff. What can we do? I've got it. Make them gay.
We've tried tear gas. We've tried mustard gas. We've tried, like the rubber beanbag shotgun shells. What next? Make them gay.
Make them gay, and then they'll start making out with each other, and we could defeat them easily. Like,
oh my gosh.
I think that's hilarious. Like, even if it did make them gay, that doesn't mean they're just gonna, drop trow and start.
probably already gay people in the military, and yeah, they weren't doing that.
Yeah.
So,
oh my word, that is hilarious. So yeah, there were some leaked documents that canvassed the whole thing as a strong aphrodisiac that could be dropped on enemy troops, ideally one which could also cause homosexual behavior. The documents described the aphrodisiac weapon as distasteful but completely non-lethal. That's how the Air Force described it.
dude, did you know that the military won the Ig Nobel Peace Prize for that?
Are you serious? Oh my gosh, yeah, right here. Wright Laboratory won, I don't know what Wright Laboratory is, won the Satiric 2007 Nobel Peace Prize for instigating research and development on a chemical weapon. The so-called gay bomb or poof bomb.
Poof bomb?
That would make enemy soldiers become sexually irresistible to each other.
Okay, so the Ig Peace Prize is...
Oh, what is Ig?
It's the satirical one, so it's 10 unusual or trivial achievements in scientific research.
That's hilarious.
It aims to honor achievements that first make people laugh and then make them think.
Dude, I want to learn more. Dude, that's an episode right there. Let's go over some Ig Nobel Prizes.
Oh, okay, yeah. That'd be fun.
But, yeah, we got the gay bomb and the gaydar, otherwise known as the poof bomb and the fruit machine. You're right.
I just can't believe that was actually a thing. Could you imagine that today? Like,
oh my gosh. Oh, that's
sorry.
Good.
Oh man.
I hope we're not being
offensive
towards gay in any way. We just think it is hilarious that they actually thought these things would work.
Yeah. Oh man. Hold up.
All right, you got the next thing for us?
Yeah, just a second. Okay, so the next one is called Operation Snow White.
Ooh, this one's interesting.
So this is having to do with our good friend of the show, Tom Cruise, and his Church of Scientology. Well, I shouldn't say Church of Tom Cruise. It's the Church of old Ron Hubbard.
I still can't get over that their name is Ron.
I literally thought his name was L. Ron, but I learned today it's L. Ron Hubbard. Okay. So the Church of Scientology apparently had some unfavorable records with the government. I don't know what they were exactly, but in the 70s, they did not want any bad records out there about the Church of Scientology. So what they did was they hired a bunch, up to 5,000 covert agents to basically infiltrate over 130 government agencies, embassies, consulates.
130?
Yeah, there were a lot.
Dang.
And basically other agencies that were either critical of Scientology or had these records against them. And it was in more than 30 countries that they did this too. So it wasn't just...
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, I think it was like majorly the U.S. government that they infiltrated, but it was other countries too. They would have agents infiltrate these government agencies and go and basically scrub these records, negative records.
Shred anything or delete
anything that they could. Yeah, this was the 70s, so I'm not sure how. I'd assume it was mostly document storage back then, but you never know.
I mean, back then it would be a lot easier to get rid of files on yourself. You just have to grab the file and run, shred, anything. And that's the only copy usually. But like today with computers, you cannot do that.
Yeah, so they infiltrated some very secure government agencies to do this. How they infiltrated, I don't know. It's had to be a huge operation.
I'm guessing it was just like standard stuff. They got a job there. They worked up through the ranks, and as soon as they were able to, they grabbed the things.
You're probably right. I mean, they had 5,000 people. Oh, so it says they were able to break into a room and make false IRS ID cards. So that would allow them access to certain places. So they had people, maybe they had jobs there, making them fake IDs and or getting them getting other people jobs to go in and then infiltrate. But kind of an interesting one.
Was it successful, or did they get caught?
There was a trial. I'm trying to find the year. So it was 1979. This was about 5 years after the operation came to an end. 5 of the high up Scientologists were sentenced to only 4 years in jail. And
I guess they weren't really trying to hurt anyone or overthrow anything, so I guess it wasn't that bad, but...
Yeah, so the wife of L. Ron Hubbard, she got 5 years in prison, and then they all had a $10,000 fine.
Ooh, that's a hefty fine.
So yeah, and then there were some more that were up to jail for 6 months. So yeah, they definitely had a trial that went on for a while. And then 5 years after, they were all sentenced. So, yeah. The FBI raided the Church of Scientology headquarters in L.A., and they had 156 agents go in, and that was the biggest raid ever conducted. Yeah,
dang.
156 agents, and it was a 21-hour raid, and they filled a 16-ton truck with documents and other items.
16 tons?
Well, that was how big the truck was, but they filled that truck with, and then there were some other illegal activities they were doing as well against the U.S. government. There was an operation they discovered called Operation Freakout, otherwise known as Operation PC Freakout, and this was a plan to have Paulette Cooper, who was an author and journalist, imprisoned or committed to a psychiatric hospital.
Wait, who wanted
the Church
this?
of Scientology was trying to get her
and
put in a psychiatric hospital, so they discovered this. She was like a major journalist in the country,
and I'm guessing she was against Scientology, and that's why they wanted.
I'm guessing she was probably doing some bad stuff against them. She wrote a book. I'm trying to remember what it was called, The Scandal of Scientology, I think. And so they were trying to get her basically put in a psych ward called Operation Freakout.
Dang.
And so that's another thing that they were doing.
Have you heard of, I'm sure you've heard things on Scientology, but I heard somebody visited or went on the Joe Rogan podcast, and she used to be in Scientology, her and her sister or something like that. Anyway, they talked about it a little bit, and you have to, there are, levels. Mm-hmm. That you have to evolve through or whatever, and there's a lot of them.
Yeah, was it Leah Remini? That's the lady that I know is the most famous one. She's was it this actress chick?
Yeah, I think she used to be, or was an actress.
This lady,
dark hair. Yeah, that's her.
Yeah, she was a pretty famous one, and I think she grew up in Scientology. I don't know if she's still active, but she was one of the most famous ones.
Oh yeah, it's called your operating thetan? I don't know how to pronounce that. But apparently, that's how in tune with it you are. And there are 15 levels. And you have to pay money to go up through them. Which, if that isn't a red flag, I don't know.
That's messed up.
The cost to move to OT1 was $2,750 as of 2013. Then OT2 cost $5,225, and it goes up and up. But apparently at OT8, that's when the truth is revealed to you.
Huh. The truth, huh? Mm-hmm. That's when they tell you Scientology's a bunch of crap. We have your money.
According to interviews performed by Mike Rinder, Scientologists have described OT8 as, quote, less than overwhelming.
All right, that's anticlimactic. They have a cross on their
Yeah, I wondered that. Why do they have a cross on their building?
I don't know, because they're not Christian.
But don't they have sneakers or something there? They get shoes in a spaceship after they die or something like that.
Oh, really? I know there's a flying spaghetti monster. But...
Oh, dude, have you heard of that whole thing? The Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster? It's actually kind of hilarious.
I thought that was Scientology.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
It's a religion.
Oh, Pastafarianism.
Yes, that's what it is. And they basically exist just to make fun of religions.
Yeah. There was that dude, I saw this meme where this guy decided to wear like a colander on his head for his driver's license picture.
Oh, and he
tried
said
to make him. Yeah, he said it's because he's a Pastafarian.
And they had to let him wear it in his picture.
That's so funny. Oh,
I
man.
love that.
We got time for more, or we?
Let's see. So we're sitting at 40 minutes.
Okay,
So,
let's
yeah.
do one or two more.
Who just went over that last one?
I went over Operation Snow White.
That's right.
So
Okay.
it's your turn.
Okay, let me choose a short one. What do we got here? The White Sox threw the World Series in 1919. This is something that they were playing against, I believe it was the Chicago Cubs. Yes, the Chicago Cubs. Oh, I was wrong. Sorry. Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got that wrong so hard. But they, I think they were just favored to win.
Yeah.
And then they lost, and people were like, okay, there's no way. Like, the way they were playing, it just seemed like they weren't really even trying. Anyways, so the conspiracy theories was that they threw it. They purposely lost the game, and it did come out. How long did it take for it to come out?
It was 2 years later that
In September of 1920.
Okay. I know it was 2021 when the men were acquitted, but it was, about a year later that
Yeah,
it
so
came out.
year and a half, it looked like the commissioner declared that games 1, 2, and 8 of the 1919 World Series had been rigged. The outcome of the first 2 games had been procured by the bribery of the White Sox players by the Burns-Attell-Bennett Combine. Not entirely sure what that is, but basically they were paid to lose. And all 8 players that were accused were banned for life from the MLB. Although they were acquitted in 1921, meaning, doesn't that mean all charges were dropped against them?
Yes.
So, by a jury. So, take that as you will, but they were still banned.
Yep.
I guess this one's not 100% confirmed, but...
I think they couldn't prove it.
Oh, but
There was no way
everyone
to
knows,
prove
it's
it.
kind of like an O.J. Simpson kind of thing.
Yeah. And then he had the audacity to write the book, If I Did It.
But have you seen the cover of that book?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you guys... everyone knows O.J. Simpson. But, like, if you go look at the book he wrote called If I Did It, he writes, like, literally about how he would do it if he had actually done it. Which, what the heck? That's a weird thing to write about. But the cover, the if is tiny, and the I did it are huge. So it literally just looks like it says, I did it.
And then he's, like, looking back and, like, almost smirking a little bit at the, like, looking back at you on the cover. It's crazy.
So, yeah, what a guy, you know? The audacity of that guy is astounding to me.
I think the travesty, though, of this World Series was that Shoeless Joe Jackson probably would have gotten into the Hall of Fame. And he was, like, really good. And I bet you that... I think Lefty Williams, was he in the Hall of Fame? Let's see. Lefty Williams. So there were 8 men that were banned. And I'm pretty sure Lefty Williams probably won't ever get in, and neither will Shoeless Joe because of that whole scandal.
Right.
Which sucks, but
Yeah.
I think that's the real, like, travesty of it all. I wonder how much this happens in sports today, though, because you got to think back then, 1920, like, how much was professional baseball actually making?
Probably not much.
Like, enough for them to be bribed by, I don't know how
Right.
much money.
A
But,
decent
like,
amount back then.
You see NBA players today. What was just the biggest? There was who's the dude that plays for the Celtics? Not Tatum, but Jaylen Brown. Did you see his new contract?
No, I didn't.
5-year, $303.7 million.
Holy crap.
So that is $60 million a year.
Jeez. That's crazy.
I remember like 3 years ago or 4 years ago when Rudy Gobert signed 3 years ago, and his was like $40 million a year, and it was the biggest at the time. Russell Westbrook was making like $40 million a year. There was another one that was signed recently. So Jaylen Brown's is the biggest, but Bradley Beal, he just signed. His is like a ridiculous 5-year, $251.
Yeah. And in football, too, Jalen Hurts, the quarterback for the Eagles, signed a 5-year, $255 million contract. So that's like, you got to be kidding.
Yeah, man.
That's $5 million in a signing bonus, it says right here. Can you imagine just for saying, yeah, I'll be on your team for 5 years. Here, okay, thanks. Here's $5 million.
Yeah.
And we'll give you another $250 million over the course of the next 5 years.
Dame's making like $50 million a year. I think KD's making that much. Giannis is probably making that much. And Jokic is making a ridiculous... Jokic just signed one, too, that is... like pretty ridiculous too. I don't remember, but like I don't think that would be an issue for them today because I feel like now it's more about like you want the championship.
Oh yes, it's money. Like if you ask an NBA player to throw their championship game today or an NFL player to throw the Super Bowl, there's not a chance they're doing that. I don't think
you have enough money. Why do you need more money? Like. At least in my mind, I'm sure that maybe that kind of stuff does go on, but...
There was this is a different thing completely, but there was a thing where a few of the teams had I don't know what to call it, a hit list kind of thing, where the defensive players, they would have people like, okay, these are their best players on offense.
Really?
And like, basically, we want you to hit them so hard that they have to go leave the game. And if they leave the game, like, you get like a $500 bonus kind of thing. Yeah, kind of thing. And it was a big scandal that went out through the NFL.
That was the NFL.
Yeah. Like, hit them so hard, they can't come back in the game. And they would pay you for it.
Wasn't that the Saints that did
Yes, that's right. It was the Saints.
I remember hearing something about that. They call it like the bounty of the Saints or something. Like,
I think it was just a bounty program or something.
Bounty Gate or something.
The New Orleans Saints bounty scandal or Bounty Gate.
That's so crazy, man. I mean, here's the thing. How can you tell in football, though? Like, you have to hit people anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, and obviously you're going to hunt out certain players.
I mean, most of these ones that they got, like, that got paid out or whatever, the players usually got kicked out of the game for it because...
Oh, really? Because it was like an illegal
It was like, okay, that was so bad... Get out of the game, you're done, kind of thing. Or, like, got flagged at the very least, kind of thing. Like, but that was okay. Like, I remember them saying, like, in an interview, not an interview, but, like, it leaked out that players were like, yeah, they didn't, like, they were like, yeah, it doesn't matter if you get a flag or kicked out of the game. We're going to, like, we'll give you some major brownie points, and here's a $1,000 payout kind of thing, just for hitting one hit kind of thing.
Like, helmet to helmet or something. Just like
something like that. And it was just like, you got to be kidding. That's crazy. Anyway, I guess that's another conspiracy theory that turned out to be true. We can throw in there, but we've got a couple minutes left. Why don't you close us out with a quick one? What do you think we should go for there?
Let's go with. We're gonna go with the Dead Baby Project.
Oh, the Dead Baby Project,
or also known as Project Sunshine Nuclear Testing. So this was back in the 50s when the government was starting to do more experimentation on how nuclear bombs and the fallout would affect the world's population, because obviously we just dropped a couple nukes and they wanted to know.
That's fair.
So they're trying to do some research, and they would basically what happened is that they had a lack of human samples, right? No one wanted to go stand in the fallout zone with a nuclear bomb and subject themselves to this. So at the time, the AEC, which was the Atomic Energy Commission, their commissioner was named Willard Libby, and he was the one that was complaining about...
Willard Libby.
What a name, Willard Libby. Willard. That sounds like such an old man name. Willard! Sorry. If you're named Willard, we love you too, but I don't know any man under the age of 50 named Willard, though. Where was I? Sorry to all you Willards out there. he was saying, I don't know how to get these samples, but we have to get, like, it's super important that we get human samples. And so he was on record as saying, this is a quote, "I don't know how to get them, but I do say that it is a matter of prime importance to get them, and particularly in the young age group. So human samples are often of prime importance, and if anybody knows how to do a good job of body snatching, they will really be serving their country."
Oh my gosh.
So this led to over 1,500 samples being gathered, and only 500 of them were actually analyzed. But many of those 1,500 samples were gathered from cadavers, and a lot of those were babies and young children. And they were taken anywhere from countries like Australia and Europe, and a lot of these samples were taken without knowledge or consent of the parents of those children and babies.
Of course not.
So some reports say that it was small skin samples, others say that it was complete limbs or full bodies that were taken.
Just like, I need this arm, thanks.
We're just going to take your baby. But they were doing,
Fallout testing.
Yeah, fallout testing on them. Which, here's the thing. A dead person, their body, does it react the same to radiation?
There's no way,
because
right?
it's already decomposing. It's not alive.
And also doesn't have blood flowing. That's got to change things.
I would
and
imagine,
oxygen and...
I would imagine it's really different. And so... why couldn't you just like go to Japan and be like, hey, anyone that lived, we'll test you and we'll pay you.
We'll give you $500 or whatever.
We'll pay you to let us analyze your body over the next 20 years or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
To test.
Well, those weren't nuclear bombs though. Those were atomic bombs. Is that different? I don't even know.
Good question.
I might have just sounded like a major idiot there. Like, those are the same thing. Some Reddit neckbeard is writhing right now.
Okay, so atomic bombs are kind of nuclear bombs, so you're semi-correct. That only utilize nuclear fission, though.
Of course.
The other types of nuclear bombs are thermonuclear bombs, also known as hydrogen bombs, which use the process of nuclear fusion.
Oh, silly me.
So
okay, why wasn't Nagasaki and Hiroshima? I don't know how to pronounce it. Why aren't they nuclear fallout areas then? Because like I don't know. I guess Chernobyl was a different thing. I was gonna say Chernobyl, but that was something completely different. So.
They still have some background radiation, but I don't think it's like anything major. Did you see though that apparently in Japan, a lot of older people are trying to go and clean up the radiation, volunteering. There was a guy that was like 70, and what people are like, why are you volunteering for this? And he's like, I'm old.
I'm already dead soon, kind of thing.
He's like, it'll take 20 years for me to get cancer from this anyway, so...
I'll be dead before I even notice its effects.
Yeah, he's like, we'll save the young generations, and a lot of them are helping like scrub that radiation away, but I don't think it has much of an effect anymore.
Good.
I think in Chernobyl, where it was like super concentrated in the reactor, probably different, but...
Yeah, plus there's probably a lot more. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fun fact. Not fun. Scary fact. Do you know how an atomic explosion or whatever works?
Isn't it splitting the
It's
atom?
an atom splitting and releasing energy, but a piece of that atom basically launches out, or they like kind of split apart, and then they'll hit other atoms, making that one split. And it causes a chain reaction, which is why it's so big. So when they tested the first bomb, nuclear bomb or atomic bomb, I don't know whatever one of those bombs, there was a slight worry that it would
like combust the whole atmosphere.
Yeah, one of them would fly off and hit like I think it was hydrogen atom, even though there's not much in the air, like close to none, but there is some. Like if it hits one of those, it could hypothetically set our atmosphere on fire.
Yeah.
Like the entire atmosphere. And that was a legitimate worry that they had. They had to like think about the risk of that. Like, is it worth it kind of thing? And they basically determined after doing a lot of math that it was almost impossible for that to happen. But when I heard that, I was like, are you kidding? Like there's a chance with every atomic bomb that goes off to basically set the entire Earth on fire.
That's why that dude said that he was the destroyer of worlds.
I am become death.
Yeah.
Destroyer of worlds.
Yeah. Have you seen that movie?
Not yet.
I'd like to go see it. I heard it was decent.
Yeah. We'll see.
Have you seen Barbie?
Not yet.
I have not seen Barbie.
I don't pay for movies, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch all of my movies
at home
At
after
home.
they're released.
Right.
Legally, and I pay for them with legal tender.
Anyway.
Have you seen the new Mission Impossible?
Nope.
That was pretty good, if you like those movies.
Aren't they all the exact same, though?
This one was fun. I enjoyed it. It's all about AI, and
It always
it was
is.
fun. Yeah, Tom Cruise is still doing his own stunts, man. He's still going wild up there.
I watched the video on they did a whole behind the scenes on the motorcycle jump. He apparently did it like 6 times to get the right shot
in a
kind
day.
of thing.
Like, just...
Yeah. Dude's like 50-something, first of all. Like, that's
Isn't
crazy.
he 60 now?
Is he really
Let's
60?
see. I think he's 60.
No way
Let's see.
he's 60.
61.
No way!
61. And he looks like he's 50.
He looks like he's 45.
He looks good, yeah. Have you seen his Top Gun co-star?
You mean like Goose?
No, Kelly McGillis, the chick.
Oh, really? Oh, I have. She does not look well.
No, she does not.
Oh, wow. That does not look like the same person.
I don't think that's a flattering picture of her, but yeah,
They did not
she has
age
aged
similarly.
a lot. He aged like wine, and she aged like milk. Yeah,
Chunky milk.
chunky lemon milk.
Wait, what's that from?
Office. Kevin's
Oh, yeah,
drinking the old milk out of
he's
the
like,
fridge.
oh, they're coming back. That means no more chunky lemon milk. Oh, that's so good.
Oh man. Well, this was fun. So
That is a good one.
we should do another episode like this.
We got a lot more on this list, and I'm sure there's way more we haven't even found yet that we could throw on this list. And
Tell us some conspiracies that came true, but also we want to do some that were proven completely false.
yes,
And then we also want to do episodes on ones that haven't been determined yet. So
I don't know. At that point, we're just gonna go to Reddit and see like what are your biggest conspiracy theories, and
Yeah.
and the top ones. Let's just go through them and see.
yeah,
I don't know how believable they are, or
yeah.
I don't know. Like we're gonna cover the moon landing at some point. There's a lot of interesting stuff there. Oh, I got another conspiracy theory that turned out to be true. That sneak peek. NASA is altering images of Mars
I heard that. Yeah.
before they release them to the public.
Yep.
And I don't know much more than that at the moment. I'd have to research. I don't want to tell you guys wrong. So that'll be the next episode.
Yep. So, yeah, let us know your conspiracies. We're going to be mixing everything else in there as well. We've kind of fallen off the American Urban Legends train, but
Oh yeah, I honestly forgot about that.
we'll need to get back on that.
I guess.
I think the last one was Indiana.
Oh my gosh, there's so many states.
There are. I don't even think we're halfway through.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, we will get back on that train sometime as well. We recently had an episode that I think was taken down that we're going to try and throw back up for you.
Austin is adamant that he uploaded this episode and it's gone.
I uploaded it and then I listened to it on Spotify. I listened to it on Spotify.
Well,
and then
apparently
now it's gone.
the government is not happy with that, or
Yeah.
Spotify, or whoever it was that took down that episode. But
Yeah.
we'll get it back up.
Big Brother's watching. Use your VPNs and throw some tape over your computer cameras, and
Definitely.
you'll all be good.
All right, well it's been a fun episode, and we really appreciate you guys joining us for this today. And let us know what other topics you want to hear. You can let us know on social media, our Instagram. You can chat us there. You can leave a comment on any of the posts. Maybe direct message on Instagram is probably the best, or direct message on Facebook, are probably the best ways to reach us at this time.
Yeah, you can do it through Facebook or through Spotify as well.
Oh,
We
yeah.
include the link there.
You can? That's right.
Yeah,
Oh, we
in the
we
show
have a
notes.
website. I forgot.
You can
about
even leave us a voice message, and we include those links in the show notes. We'll throw our email in there as well, tangentpodcast@outlook.com. And
Yeah, the best way though, let's see, yeah, in every show notes we should put our website, which may be changing at some point. But as of right now, it is podcasters.spotify.com/pod/show/tangent podcast. Can you remember that?
woo!
Anyway, it'll be in the show notes, but it's got all of our episodes, and it's got links to our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter, our YouTube, which we have not been doing.
Don't you mean X?
Oh, X. So sorry.
Our
I forgot.
X
So
account.
dumb. And you can also, at that point, you can send us a voice message. You can also support us with like a monthly donation, which we will be releasing episodes for at some point. And that's about it.
Thanks for listening. We love you all.
And have yourselves a wonderful rest of your night.
Goodbye.